Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. What strikes me about this new moon in Sagittarius, at the very, very beginning of Sagittarius, is that it's at right angles, square to Neptune, so that although Sagittarius is often known as the most outspoken and honest of the signs, on this occasion it's as though flights of fancy may take charge, so that although the truth may be the prompting factor of our Sagittarian expression, it may not be a truth that coincides with the realities of the life in this physical world, as though we start off okay, but then perhaps let our imaginations go a little bit too far. This is emphasised by the fact that Jupiter is at right angles to that new moon as well. It's a very broad square, being 8 degrees, but as it is the sun and moon, I think we can include it. Jupiter is also square to Saturn, so it's not just the bright positivity of Sagittarius that we may go over the top with, it's also perhaps the more serious emotional side that feels too much. Many people over this last month, with the Scorpio emphasis, have been feeling the sadness of the world flowing through them. It takes a while to realise that it's the world one is feeling. It feels like one's own to start with. Very sad, lots of grief splashing up, as it were, from underneath the stormy sea. Saturn in Scorpio is in a way forcing us to look and see what's there, to take responsibility for what's ours, but also an endeavour to hold steady so that there is safety, ultimate safety, in turbulent times. At this new moon and in this chart, Saturn is still there, combing through the last of our scorpionic area, the deep emotions that we've been sort of shuffling along ahead of us, trying not to look at, maybe postponing the moment when things need to be faced. And Mercury coming up behind. Our communications over these last weeks prepared to look at what's there, to consciously own it, to talk about it. And in this chart, most beautifully, sextiling the Capricorn Mars. So, following through our solutions, following through in a way that perhaps achieves a new ground, a further forward foundation for us to move from. Mercury finishes off Scorpio very quickly, and on the 28th of November we'll move into Sagittarius. So from the 28th we will probably all be feeling a little lighter about the circumstances of life. Venus at 7 degrees Sagittarius, just before this new moon, was exactly at right angles to Neptune. This shows up in our relationships, of course, as a tendency not to face the truth. They're both mutable signs, so quite a lot of sliding around. But perhaps the motivation for that is to find the love, to enjoy the romantic side of our relationships, to really touch on that spiritual love that makes relating as a human being such a beautiful experience. The suggestion there is that we take care not to lose sight of the three-dimensionality of the person we're relating to, so that they remain themselves, clay feet and all, rather than becoming a romantic figure, two-dimensional, the other. If we make that mistake, we're liable to face disappointment, not too far off, as Venus especially squares Chiron. If we can maintain that sense of the vision, the spiritual reality of life and of other people and of ourselves, at the same time as remembering the truth, the clay of the earth, if we can hold both of those, we will be able to let go of the false aspects of our personality. Venus moving towards the trine with Uranus. as it touches the trine just before the square to Chiron, we would do well not to let go of everything, in case there's something there to regret. The full moon chart shows this letting go becoming the most important thing that we need to do. The sun has moved forward by then to make the trine to Uranus itself, and the moon opposite to it, sextiling Uranus. Mercury also has moved in, very close to the sun. I think we all have masks, to a degree. How we would like the world to see us, how we are striving to be, rather than being somewhat less than we would like to be. And those masks are not real. All they do is obscure the light that we are. And here in this full moon chart is Venus trining Jupiter, the fire fully radiant, enjoyment, being oneself just for fun, and the understanding that all we let go of is the rubbish that conceals our beauty. Some of that will be old images of ourselves, old relationships, old habit patterns, and the pain of letting go of all that. And remember again, we will be doing it for the world. Chiron is in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. Boundaries are very thin at the moment, and all of humanity moves and swells and struggles together. It's perfectly in order to ask our unseen companions to take away the suffering we feel that is not ours. We don't have to go through everything that everybody's going through just because we're open to it. Our spirit has chosen a limited body with skin and bones to keep its shape, and that goes for all levels of human experience. We are allowed boundaries. At the full moon, Mars has moved into Aquarius, so perhaps this is the realization, the second half of this coming month, that actually we can empathize with where other people are, but not necessarily take it on ourselves, giving ourselves a lot more room to enjoy. So from time to time in your emotional experience, check if you are actually feeling other people's emotions, or whether these emotions are really all your own. With even a small amount of emotion, we have then a hook for other people's. So being sure that you're really you, that what you're feeling is reasonable, even if that reason is in your own past, is good to make sure occasionally. Be open to being wrong. Be open to not knowing. Discover the truth as you go along, rather than trying to imagine what it might be. Don't let your imaginings shape your future with worries and fears and anxieties, or with hopes of anything specific, with expectations of anything specific. There's a lovely phrase, have no expectations, but abundant expectancy. This is the adventurous Sagittarius on the road. So enjoy yourself. Each one of you is as dear to life as each other one. There are no favourites, no rewards. All is given as required. All that is required in return is trust. Trust that all is well, regardless of appearances. Trust that you are that spirit which is stronger than and runs through everything that exists. Trust that there are no real mistakes. All is held and loved for what it is, not for what it could or might have been. There is no goal. The journey is the passing colours and sounds of your life itself. Enjoy this life that you live, and your open heart will receive everything.